Hello and welcome to today's video. The focus for this one is our obliques, okay? So this is the section of our core down the side of the body, okay? So for this we're going to use our resistance band for some of the exercises. If you don't have one, you can try with a belt or a rolled up towel or something just that you can hold. At about shoulder width distance would be ideal. A pair of old tights would be nice because there might be a little bit of resistance in them or a little bit of elasticity in them. But also you can just do these exercises without any band or anything. Alright, let's get started. So starting in a standing position, if you bring your feet to about shoulder width apart and have your toes pointing slightly outwards. We're going to start with a little bit of up and over just to mobilise the shoulders, and for this you would need to hold on to the band fairly wide. Okay, nice big breath in, reach the arms up, and then on your out breath circle the arms down, bringing the band down to touch the bum. Breathe in, lift back up, and breathe out down. So you might want to adjust wherever you're holding depending on your strength or the toughness of your band or the flexibility of your shoulders. But just doing this movement even just without the band or anything is good as well. The band just helps you to really feel a good stretch in across the chest. Good, breathe in and out. In and out. In and out. Good, keep on going with your breath pattern. Just a few more. Hopefully feeling a little bit of heat in the shoulders now. And last one, up and over. Perfect. Okay. Now if you can, if you are using a band, just fold it over in two. So we're going to hold on to it at shoulder width apart, okay? Now, I'm going to come down onto my knees for this actually, just so that you can see well what I'm doing. So you can do this either like me from a high kneeling position, or just stay up on your feet if that's more comfortable. Alright, so lift the arms up so your arms are now up over your head. Good, now we're going to breathe in and go over to the left. Then on your out breath, bring yourself back into the center. Breathe in, reach over to the right. And on your out breath, come back into the center. Now keep the band taut and just move from side to side, so there's no leaning forwards or backwards. I want you to use your out breath to bring yourself into the center, because I want you to be thinking about that contraction back inwards of the belly button. So when you breathe out, you tighten in the muscles in behind your belly button, which means you're starting to activate those core muscles. This is one of those exercises that at the time doesn't feel like much, but the day after, you really feel it. Good, breathe in, reach over, breathe out into the center. Now remember, it doesn't matter how far over you get, you just move to your own limits. Now, what can often happen when we get tired is that our shoulders start to creep up towards the ears. So let's just have a quick reminder to drop the shoulders down. And always remembering to stay focused on that core contraction inwards. Good, a couple more. Last one to each side. Brilliant. and lower the arms down. Good. Okay, so now if you're on your knees, we're just going to come down into a seated position. If you're standing, just bring yourself carefully down onto the floor. Okay, now feet down at the end of your mat, knees bent, and we're still going to use this band, okay? So fold it over in two again. So you're still holding on to it at that shoulder width distance. Good. All right, so sit up nice and tall with your shoulders back and spine nice and upright. Take a nice breath in. Then on your out breath, we're going to lean back. So tuck the tailbone under, chin curls in towards your chest, and start to lean yourself back into the half roll back position. Now pause here, breathe in, and then on your out breath, sit yourself back up again. Now if this is too much for anybody, just bring the band down to the knees kind of, and then lower yourself down and you've got a little bit of support, or you can even put the band or your hands in just behind the thighs. Might be a bit more comfortable than around the knees, which just gives you a little bit more support than doing it with the arms stretched out. Good. Any questions, just drop me a message and I'll help you figure out how you can adapt this to suit you if you need to. Okay, breath in. And then on your out breath, tilt, roll back. Pause, breathe in, and then breathe out, sit back up. Good. A couple more just like this. Then we're going to add in a little twist and get into these obliques. Remember to restack the spine when you're back up in the seated position. Restack, shoulders back. Breathe out, roll back. Pause, breathe in. And then breathe out. Sit back up, restack. Good. Have a little breather as I show you the next part. So we're going to come down, just as we did before. Then a little twist over to the left hand side. Stay in this twist as we sit back up. Come through the center, and then you'll roll down. A little twist over to the other side, to the right. Stay in the twist as you sit up, okay? So start with the arms stretched out. A little pull on the band, that's really going to get into those arms as well. Sit upright to begin. Breath in, and then on your out breath, roll down, breathe in, twist over to the left, then breathe out to bring yourself back to seated and into the center. Breathe out, roll back, breathe in, twist to the right, breathe out, back to seated, breathe in, into the center and restack. Good, and continue flowing with your own breath. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in. Now, like I often say, don't panic too much about all of these ins and outs with the breathing. Just try to keep the breath flowing continuously so you're not holding your breath at any point. But if you're breathing out when I say in, don't panic or fret too much about it. We all get the breathing wrong sometimes, even I do. Especially when I'm trying to talk and breathe and move all together. Good, breathe out, lower back. Breathe in, twist. Breathe out, sit up. Breathe into the center. Breathe out, back. Breathe in, twist. Breathe out, up. Breathe in, relax. One more to each side. Brilliant, well done. Okay, put the band away for a moment and we're going to come down onto our backs. So a nice slow curl down, feeling each bone connect with the floor, one vertebra at a time. Good. Okay, now bring your feet a little bit closer in towards the bum, your knees pointing up towards the ceiling, and get into your neutral pelvis position. So that's with that little lightness underneath the small of your back. Good. Now rest the hands down either side of your body and just breathe here for a moment. Breathing in, breathing out, feeling that core contraction with your out breath as you pull the belly button inwards and flatten and tighten those lower abdominals. Good, one more big breath. Okay, lovely. All right, now a nice big breath in, and then on your out breath, we're going to lift the head and the shoulders up off the floor. Now, all we're going to do is twist around, bringing that left hand around towards the outside of your left foot. Then back into the center, and then a little twist around to the other side, right hand towards your right foot. Back to the center, and swivel and twist. Center, twist. Good, keep the core muscles contracted. If you're finding this hard on your head and shoulders, bring your hands up to support your head and shoulders and just twist the body around. But sometimes having the arms extended helps a little because you have that reach down with the arm stretched out. If you need to, you just rest for a moment and then come back up. But I want you to get to the point where you're really starting to feel a real heat in the tummy. Good, a few more. Last one. Well done. And relax head and shoulders down. Give those abs a little rest for a moment. Okay, brilliant. Now bring your hands down either side of your body again and bring the feet a little bit closer in towards the bum. Now breathe in, prepare. Then on your out breath, we're going to tilt the pelvis back, which presses your lower back down into the floor. The glutes begin to lift. Continue with that, coming up into your shoulder bridge, pressing down into your shoulders and your feet. Squeeze into the glutes and try not to let the knees open apart. Good, hold here for your breath in, and then on your out breath, roll the spine back down again, one vertebra at a time. Breathe in as you tilt the pelvis forwards to neutral again, and then breathe out, tilt it back and curl up, peeling the spine up off the floor, squeeze into the glutes, breathe in, and then breathe out, lower down. Tilt the pelvis forwards to neutral. Good, and again, lift up. Okay, now from here, we're just going to tilt ever so slightly, so drop that left hip down towards the floor, and then roll down on this left side. Good, then roll back into the center and readjust as needed. Get all nice and centered again. Breathe in, then breathe out. Tilt the pelvis, curl and lift. This time tilt, drop down on that right hand side and roll down just the right side of the spine. And then drop the left side down. Get recentered, shuffle about on the floor again. We'll do one more of those on each side. Breathe out, tilt back and lift. Good, then tilt, dropping the left side of your hips down. Roll down on that left side. And then readjust. Good, then tilt and lift. Drop the right side of your hips down. Roll down. Good, and then readjust and recenter. Good, we'll do a couple of the normal ones again. So breath in, breath out, tilt the pelvis back, roll and lift up. Squeeze into the glutes, keep the knees aligned with the hips, and then roll back down again. Good, and one more. And roll back down. Lovely. Good, lift your knees in and give yourself a little rock from side to side. Perfect. Then just drop the toes down onto the floor. Now you might want to bring your hands slightly out to the sides, just so you have enough room for your knees. We're going to go into the lovely tick-tock of the knees from side to side. So starting just on your tiptoes, breathe in, drop the knees over to the right hand side, and then on your out breath, just like when we were doing that with the band at the beginning, contract inwards with the belly button as you draw the knees back to the center point. Then breathe in, drop the knees over to the left, and then breathe out. Bring the knees back into the center. Good, and just continue. Don't worry about the knees staying together. When you have your toes still connected to the floor, the knees will automatically, slide one further than the other. Good, one more to each side. And then we're going to try with the feet lifted. Okay, lovely. So now if you can lift your feet so your legs are now in this tabletop position, hips at 90 degrees, knees at 90 degrees. And again, breathe in, dropping the knees over to the right, but keep your left shoulder connected to the floor. And then on your out breath, back into the center. Breathe in, knees over to the left. Then on your out breath, back up into the center. Good, again, to the right, back to the center. Breathe in to the left, breathe out to the center. Now you can fully extend the legs to increase the intensity of this if you want. Or you can drop the toes back down onto the floor to reduce the intensity if you want. Try to keep the shoulders and the upper part of your torso just completely still. So now if you can lift your hands up, just put your hands onto your shoulders as a little reminder. Good, one more to each side. Breathing out each time you come back into that center point. And then when you finish, just another lovely little hug inwards of the knees to the stomach and the chest. A little rock from side to side. Brilliant. Okay, now we're going to roll over onto our side and do a little bit of side plank to finish this oblique focused workout. Okay, so we're going to come down onto our side. So if we start on our left hand side, so your left elbow is on the ground, just a little bit forwards from your shoulder, okay? You definitely don't want the elbow to be closer into the body than the shoulder. And what we're going to be doing is pressing up into a side plank. So when we do that, the shoulder moves forward slightly. So if you start off with the elbow just a little bit forwards from the shoulder, then that can help avoid putting the shoulder into that horrible position of, where it's over your elbow. So you might want to have a little folded up towel handy for extra padding underneath your elbow. Sometimes that can really help as well. And we're going to start on our knees. So if you can try to have your knees in line with your hips, in line with your shoulders, okay? So knees, hips and shoulders are all in one nice line. Okay, now nice big breath in, and then on your out breath, lift the hips up off the floor so you're resting just on your knee and your elbow. Now if you need to, keep the hand here for extra support, but if you don't, try lifting the arm up towards the ceiling or just resting it on your hips. Now, hold this position if that's enough, or you can do little dips, down, press, down, press. Okay, so keep going with that. Rest as and when you need to. The next level up is to do this from your feet. So feet, hips and shoulder all in a nice line instead of knees, hips and shoulder. So we get our legs fully extended. Our feet are resting one on top of the other. Use this right hand to help press yourself up. Okay, big breath in. Then on your out breath, come up into your side plank. Again, keep the hand down on the floor to support if you need to. Otherwise, try pointing it up towards the ceiling or resting it on your hips. And then lower and lift. Good, so keep on going, either from your knees, little dips, or on the sides of your feet. Okay, the choice is yours. Just have a little rest in between if you need to, or stop the dips if you prefer just to hold. Go for another 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, now we're going to swap and do the other side. So we start on our elbows and knees. So knees, hips and elbows nicely aligned. Nice breath in. Then on your out breath, lift up, keep the hand on the floor or lifted, whichever you prefer. Try adding in those little dips if you can. Good. Now remember, progress up to on your feet if you want to. Ready? Nice breath in. And then on your out breath, lift up. So you're resting just on the side of your feet. Lower and lift, lower and lift. Sometimes putting your shoes on can actually help with this one as well, for a little bit of extra support on the feet. Come back to the knees if you prefer. Leave out the dips if you want and just do the hold. But hopefully you're feeling this on the underside of those obliques. Good, keep on going. We have to try and do the same amount of time on one side as we did on the other. Good, finish for your final 3, 2, 1, and rest. Well done. Okay, a little bit of stretching to finish. So come down onto the floor, again, back on the floor, and just lift the arms up and stretch up so the backs of your hands touch the floor, and feel a lovely stretch down the sides of your body. Good, then just grab hold of your left wrist with your right hand and just gently pull that left arm over to the right. And this will just intensify this stretch down the left side of your body. And then the other side. Good, then come up into a seated position, legs crossed if you can manage, or come up onto a chair if this is uncomfortable for you. And then again, just that nice side stretch, stretching into the obliques that we've worked so hard. So a lovely stretch up and over, holding it for as long as you want, or as long as it feels good. And then up and over to the other side. And one more of these to each side. Brilliant. Good, well done. So like I said, you might feel some of this down the sides of your core over the next day or two, but sometimes it's lovely to have that feeling, and it makes you feel that you've done some good, you've worked your body. So I hope you enjoyed, and see you on the next video.